we got two VLANs, VLAN 10 in sales and VLAN 20, the same example. So the first step will be assigning the ports in the VLAN 10 or 20, like these two ports in the VLAN 10 and these two ports in the VLAN 20. So this is something, the basic VLAN configuration in general. So let's see the topology here. So in this topology, we got a switch and port number 1 and 2 connected in the VLAN 10 and port number 3 and 4 in the VLAN 20. If I go and verify the configurations here, I say show VLAN, I should see port number 1 and 2 in the VLAN 10 and port number 3 and 4 in the VLAN 20. Okay, and basically, and also the PCs are pre-configured with the IP address and the default gateway. Of course, we didn't configure the default gateway here, but we'll be using the default gateway as 100, 1.100 for the VLAN 10 and 2.100 for the VLAN 20. So this part is like pre-configured, 2 steps. Now what we are doing is we are going to connect only one link. So the next step will be connecting one single link from the router. And that link, let's say I'm connecting on port number 20. And on the router side, I'll be using F0 by 0. Okay. So let me quickly connect that. A straight cable connecting from F0 by 0. So remember the ports, because when you do the configurations, you will be doing the configurations on those specific ports. Okay. So I'm going to take F0 by 0, or you can use a router here. So I'm connecting on port number 20. So you can connect to any port, it's up to you. So I'm just trying to follow the same topology connections as if I'm doing on my the same way as you can see on the slides or on my workbook. So once we do the connection, the next step will be, so the connectivity is done. So next step will be creating subinterfaces on the routers. Okay. Now how many subinterfaces we need to create? So the subinterfaces, it depends upon the number of VLANs. Like in my example, I have 2 VLANs. So I'm going to create one subinterface with a number called F0 by 0.10. Dot, any number you can use. And this is going to be the subinterface for the VLAN 10. And I'm going to assign the IP address as 192.168.1.100, probably from the same subnet what I'm using in my LAN. Similar way, I'm going to create another subinterface F0 by 0.20, the second one, which will be acting as a gateway for VLAN 20. And the IP address is going to be 192.168.2.100 from the same network what I'm using on the VLAN 20. Now the subinterface number, so this F0 by 0 is the actual physical interface. Dot, we can use any number, and this number can be any number you can use. Doesn't matter whether you're using 10 or 20. You can use any number up to 4 billion, that is a range. And make sure that this number is unique. Means if I'm creating F0 by 0.10 for VLAN 10, I cannot create again one more subinterface because with the same number. So that number should be unique within that router, that interface. Okay. So it must be unique within the physical interface. And one more thing, this number can be any number. So not compulsory to match the VLAN number. Like I'm using 10 here. I'm also using 10 here. But the best practice is to use the same number as the VLAN number to avoid unnecessary confusions. Because if you randomly give some number, let's say if I'm giving 21 here, if I'm giving 15 here, then in the future it will be very difficult for us to figure out which subinterface is a member of which VLAN by just seeing the configuration. So it's very difficult. So I recommend you to use the same number as a VLAN number, but that's not mandatory. Now once we create the subinterface, now what happens is, let's say when I'm sending a traffic from source address. So we did this. This is something we know already. And next, we have seen that subinterfaces are required. We'll see the configuration later on. I just wanted to give an overview of the complete configurations, what we'll do and why we do that. So let's say I'm sending a packet from 192.168.1.1 from this PC. Then the destination is 192.168.2.1. Now 2.1 is this PC here. So again the same thing happens. when the source and destination, if they're on different subnet, now what happens? Your packet will be sent to the gateway, right? So which means from port number, how it goes? From the port number 1, it will go to port number 20, right? And from the port number 20, it reaches the gateway. And what is your gateway? The gateway is router. So it reaches the router. Of course, if it received on subinterface F0 by 0.10 means physically it is received on F0 by 0, because subinterface is a logical interface generally. Now, once it is received here, now the router is going to check the routing table, and it says you want to go to 2.network, and the router says to go to 2.network you have to go out of which subinterface? Where is 2.network? It is on 192.168. It is on now 192.168 2.subnet is on F0 by 0.20. So it says you need to go back here again, back to port number 20. From there it again goes to either port number 3 or 4, depends upon the destination. So if you try to see this flow of packet, when it is moving from VLAN 10, it is going from here. It is going from VLAN 10, right? It is coming from where? It is coming from VLAN 10. So once it reaches the router, and when the router is sending back on the same VLAN port number 20, it is receiving back on a VLAN 20 packet, right? Because it is coming back as a VLAN 20 packet because the packet is routed on F0 by 0.20, which generally belongs to the gateway of the VLAN 20, coming back as a VLAN 20. So what is happening here? One port, what is the port? Port number 20 is carrying the VLAN 10 traffic as well as VLAN 20 traffic. If you have VLAN 30, VLAN 40, it is also carrying the VLAN 30, 40 also. So which link will carry multiple VLAN traffic? Trunk link. So which means we need to make sure that we configure the link. In our example, on the switch, port number 20 must be configured as a trunk port. Why? Why? Because it is carrying multiple VLAN traffic. Of course, on the router side also we configure slightly different. I'll show you that configuration. So if you try to see the link, so when I'm creating subinterfaces, it is sending in the form of 10, receiving in the form of VLAN 20, right? So multiple VLAN traffic. So this link must be a trunk link. Remember this. So this is part of the next part of configurations here. So probably in this we need to configure this link as a trunk in order to ensure that it will carry the multiple VLAN traffic. So if you don't configure that, it is not going to work. And finally, once you configure the trunk, you should see this 1.1 and 2.1 should communicate. Of course, that will verify once we get into the configuration part. So we need to make sure that this port number 20 should be configured as a trunk port. Okay. So if you try to see the topology here, so subinterfaces will be configured on the router side. Why? Why? Because we need a separate gateways, and every subinterface will act as a gateway for separate VLAN. Because physically we are using only one interface, but logically it's separated into subinterfaces. But on the opposite side, that is from the router, opposite side is nothing but your port connecting to the switch. That port must be configured as a trunk port because it is going to carry multiple VLAN traffic. As I showed you previously, the traffic will come as VLAN 10, may go as VLAN 20. So basically this link is going to carry multiple VLAN traffic, and the trunk link is going to carry multiple VLAN traffic. So in the trunking classes, we have seen the link connecting between switch to switch has to be the trunk, and also the switch to router should also be a trunk if I'm using subinterfaces on the opposite side. Because when I use subinterfaces, it means that this link will be carrying multiple VLAN traffic and it is doing inter-VLAN routing.